Hey everyone, so here's my review for the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead Season 10. This episode was a billion times better than I thought it was going to be, and it all had to do with what happened with, I guess, how both storylines ended. One was super tragic and probably the absolute saddest scene that we've gotten all season, and the other is quite hilarious. I never thought a scene like that would ever happen on The Walking Dead. Or I mean, I guess between those two characters, but it did, and I think The Walking Dead is a lot better for it. So of course, before we begin, I do have to warn you for spoilers for tonight's episode. Big spoilers because there were some pretty big scenes that occurred. Also, if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing if you want more Walking Dead content like this. I will be posting reviews for each episode, followed by a trailer breakdown for next week's episode. Expect that video coming out within the hour. Tonight's episode was, again, much bigger and better in so many ways. I was worried about how they were going to do this cave storyline. I thought it was going to be very, very slow. I honestly wasn't too excited to have to watch the episode because I just kept thinking, well, it's just the cave stuff. We know someone either gets stuck down there or dies down there. The main characters escape because we saw all that in the trailer, so let's just move along. Let's get past this. Let's just go to episode 10 or 11. But we'll wait, that's next week, and we'll talk about that in another video, obviously. Like, all of that went away, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. I thought tonight's episode was horrific, and it actually made me realize that I really hate tight spaces. I didn't know how easily I could feel claustrophobic, but them trying to get through those tunnels, it was hard. And I'm not even kidding. I didn't watch it for a few minutes. I completely turned away. I walked into the kitchen. I was just waiting for I was waiting for the music to go away for it to be a little more peaceful because I almost couldn't breathe during certain moments. Like, that's just how I think that just says a lot about what they did with that scene, because they really accomplished the feeling of what it would be like to be in that cave, because it actually made me, an audience member, feel like I was in that cave. And it could have just been me, maybe, I don't know, but that's how I felt. And this is my review, so yeah, that's how I felt. Unlike last year's mid-season cliffhanger, they actually stayed in the story for the whole episode. In season 9, when they were trapped in the graveyard, they practically escaped within minutes of the mid-season premiere, which I know some people criticize, but they did have to introduce Lydia. They had to introduce that storyline, like her and Alpha, and they had to bring her back to the hilltop. That was all super important because she's obviously, like, Lydia, she served a crucial plot of the back half. Her and Henry's relationship was the emotional build-up to the end of the season, to that big monumental moment. Just like I think Daryl and Carol's emotional scene here in tonight's episode at the very end, I think is going to be the emotional build or I guess backstory for the rest of the season. And I think it's going to come into play at the very, very end. But we'll talk about that in a second. So how did the cave storyline work? Well, I absolutely loved it. I was actually pretty surprised because, again, I wasn't expecting that much from it. I thought they were just going to get out immediately, but I mean, I loved it. I probably will go back and rewatch this episode again. I just loved it when they got out of there, just how refreshing it felt. It actually felt like you got a breath of fresh air. It felt so good when they got out of there, and obviously all the emotional beats to it. Now, I know some people are going to blame Carol for this, and obviously it is her fault. There's no way around it. It was her fault. But what I will say is that that's okay. She's a made-up character. This is a made-up story. This is a made-up show. It's not real life. And I'm only saying this because some people get really, really crazy and get into some crazy heated debates over certain things, what that characters do. I'm just thinking of what happened to Daryl. With Daryl, when he got Glenn killed, people were really, really pissed off about it. And yeah, I was upset about it too, because you are really emotionally invested in the show, and the show is really amazing. I think the fan base is really amazing. Everyone loves zombies. I think it's such an awesome place, but there can be some people that do take things too far. And I think the important thing in all of this to understand is that this is Carol's fault, but obviously they're going to do something with this. They're not going to outright make Carol the villain. And this is just an added layer to the character. You know, she did something really, really messed up, and, you know, her emotions got the best of her. Like, this isn't the first time either that she's done something like this. So we'll have to see what happens to Carol and Daryl's relationship going forward, because we've never had Daryl and Carol, I guess, in this position ever. They've had some ups and downs, kind of, I guess, that they haven't really had that many downs that I can remember really right now. But they've always had each other's back. You know, they've always had each other's back. And now Daryl, believing that Carol's actions got Connie killed, obviously I think he's going to be a little bit more sympathetic because, like, he knows what that does sometimes because he got Glenn killed, right? I think he's going to understand completely. And you can tell in that scene, that's what I love what Angela King did in that scene, because you can tell there that he knew that it's not fully her fault. He knows exactly what she's going through right now because he was in that position, but He's also super upset, and he knows that she technically did it though, but he doesn't want to put the blame on her because he cares about Carol. He doesn't want to do that to her because of what happened to her son and obviously now what she's going to be going through, but he knows that it was technically her. Because Carol wanted to kill Alpha so bad, she refused to listen to anyone else's thoughts on how they could actually defeat the enemy. Like Daryl says, we're fighting for the future, not for revenge. And that's obviously not Carol's belief. She couldn't care less about them actually losing their communities and etc. She just wants Alpha dead. And not even just dead, like she wants to torture the shit out of her. And trust me, I think if Carol actually got her hands on Alpha, she would do that, and I think it would be probably the worst we've ever seen Carol at. I just think the ending scene was done remarkably well. The music was just very emotional, and it hit all the right beats. Carol constantly pulling Daryl back and saying, just tell me it's my fault. Like, I know you want to say it. Just say that I did it because I did do it. Just say it. It was crazy emotional. I actually felt something during that scene because it is kind of shocking. Like Carol, I mean, technically not because it did look like Connie and Magna did survive, but they don't know that. All they know is that, yeah, Carol's actions got someone that Daryl cared for killed, right? And that's the thing too about all of this. This scene all but confirms that Daryl actually felt something for Connie. He was like digging and Aaron's just like, man, that's going to take a week. Let's start helping, Daryl yelled at him. But you know what I think is very, I guess, beautiful, but also it is very tragic and sad about all of this is like, when's the last time we saw Daryl like this or cry like this and be this emotional? It was when Rick apparently died, right? Like to them, they think he died. He was so fucking destroyed after that. And same with this. The look on his face, I mean, wow. He did not want to go anywhere near Carol. He just wanted to walk. He just walked away from her. And I think just like the Rick situation, I don't think he fully believes that she's dead. I think he still has some hope because he's just very much like that, which is kind of hilarious because both characters are technically alive. Poor Magna. In all of this, no one's focusing on her right now. But she did actually have a pretty mean scene with Carol. I mean, she really got in her face. Magna and Carol definitely aren't going to see eye to eye on anything going forward. I really think their relationship with each other is always going to be, it's just always going to be bad, I think, because of this. Like Magna just didn't like Carol already. Well, I don't know about beforehand, but in the cave, it seemed like it was getting really, really heated. And then now Carol does this, and I just don't see Magna really forgiving her too much. But let's just talk about that. Let's talk about Connie and Magna. Are they actually going to get out of the cave and make it out alive? They likely will. The way the shot was done, they teased that they're still alive. The cave blew up right in front of them, but they were still farther back that it was like, yeah, they probably did survive. They just got to find a way out. I don't think our characters are actually going to rescue them. I think they probably will find their own way out, and I think it's going to happen near the end of the season, likely in the season finale. And I think it's going to happen when Beta unleashes the Horde, because that is going to happen at some point this season. And based off of the titles for episode 15 and 16, that's the Tower and A Certain Doom. It seems like it's happening around that point there. I think Beta will unleash the Horde in 15 for sure, but they'll be dealing with it in 16. Beta's going to be very emotional and not thinking clearly after Alpha's death that I think he won't think to close the cave entrance. I don't even think he'll even care anyways, because he doesn't know that two people are down there, right? He's just going to leave it open and just unleash them all in Alexandria. And so I think they follow right after. I think they're just like, whoa, look, all the zombies are leaving. Why are they leaving? And then they'll just kind of follow the path they're leaving. That's how they get out because, you know, Alpha got them down there somehow, right? So I think that'll be the reveal. Now, I was kind of right about my Connie death prediction. I predicted a long time ago that she was going to die based off the trailer footage and etc. But obviously, without seeing the context of the way the shot was done, I didn't know that they were going to do a cliffhanger in the sense that it looked like they survived and we'll probably see them later on this season. I will say though, just because they survived this or seemingly survived, it doesn't mean that they're going to live. Connie or Magna could take Andrea's death, and I keep focusing on Connie because of her emotional relationship right now, obviously with Daryl. Andrea saved everyone from the Horde by detouring it into the ocean. Connie could reappear in the finale of season 10 and save everyone, like just do the same thing. So when that happened to Andrea in the comic, it was revealed that she had a bite mark, so she didn't get out of that situation completely unscathed. This could happen to Connie potentially, but it is hard because, I mean, are you going to really do that? You're going to reveal that she's alive and be like, oh, she's alive. Like, Daryl's going to be so happy, but then it's like, oh, no, never mind. She has a bite mark. Shit. I just don't think they're going to do that. Magna could take this death, but she's kind of a weaker character right now. It wouldn't be as big, so I don't know. As of now, we're going to have to wait and see. This is a little tricky. I'm happy that they both survived, though, for now. I love Connie as a character. Magna, I don't really care too much about, but she's really cool in the comic, so yeah, it's a win, I guess. Now on to Negan and Alpha's scene. I mean, I can't actually believe what happened between them. Like, that actually happened. Could you imagine if they actually had a baby? It's kind of a weird thought, but could you imagine if they had a baby? That baby would be the craziest serial killer of all time. Like, I think people are going to start doing artwork on those two having a baby. Like, you're going to have Alpha and Negan with their little baby wearing a Whisperer mask and a leather jacket or something. I don't know. But Negan was down with her keeping the mask on, and we probably got one of the most insane visuals ever. I just love Negan's reaction to the whole thing. Because he was like, shit, I'm cool with this mask staying on. Like, holy shit. But on a serious note, though, like, what does this do for the future of their characters? Well, I think it does hint at Alpha's death coming very soon, and that Negan is definitely going to do it, because there's been a lot of debate on who was going to do it, Carol or Negan. I think this confirms that Negan is definitely going to, because it would be, like, at this point, it would be pretty out of place for Carol to do it. That would mean that Negan did all of this for nothing, because remember, Negan's not with the Whisperers because he wants to join them. He's with them because he has an objective. He wants to kill Alpha, either by Carol's orders or because he just wants to, he thinks it might redeem himself within Alexandria. But that's why he's there. For Carol to step in and do it at this point just makes it seem like Negan was there for nothing and actually wanted to join the Whisperers, which I know is not what he wants or is planning on doing right now. So yeah, that's why I think it is going to be Negan. But as of now, Negan and Alpha are kind of together. I don't think they're actually in a relationship because Whisperers are like animals. They just kind of freely do whatever, you know. But Alpha, I think, definitely is starting to feel something for Negan, which I think is what Negan wants. He wants to get closer to her to be able to just like cut her head off. Although what came to my mind, and it comes to my mind all the time, but like, why didn't Negan try to kill Alpha in that scene? They were alone together. I don't get it. What is he waiting for? I guess it depends on how they do the scene. Maybe he can't escape. If he did it, he would be within Whisperer territory. There's no way he can actually make it out. He's probably waiting for a specific moment. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's probably going to happen in episode 13. I'm super excited. We'll find out soon enough though. But overall, I think tonight's episode was fantastic. And I think it was the best mid-season premiere by Angela King to date. She's only done 2, but this one is way better than last year's. And I'm super excited to see where she's going to go from here. Beta was sent to go and retrieve Gamma from Alexandria because they noticed that she was missing or something like that, which is, I think, why they're in Alexandria in next week's episode, which is really, really exciting. Can't wait for that scene, or I guess for all those moments to happen. So we'll see where this goes, but post all your thoughts down below. What did you think of tonight's episode? Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you want more reviews like this, make sure to be a subscriber, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.